I'm in shape, Johnny. You see this?
Yep,
I'm in shape. 4 weeks out.
Talk that
Oscar Duarte, I'm coming for your ass now. The fight is getting closer. The fight is here. Make sure you post this on Fight Hype. Oscar Duarte, live from the T-Mobile Arena. I'm gonna fucking slice and dice and ice your ass. And Mikey Garcia, Robert Garcia, all the Garcias gonna have to come stop that shit.
Wow. Breaking news. Huge fight announcements. Excellent card. Taking place February 21st. From top to bottom. As not only we're getting Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios for the WBC Welterweight Championship, 147 pounds, but also Africa, 20-0, 8 KOs, Richardson Hitchens, making his return against Oscar Duarte. We knew this fight was going to go on. Richardson Hitchens, his last 2 fights, beat Liam Peru to become the IBF Junior Welterweight Champion at 140 pounds, defended his title against George Kambosos Jr. Now, that was George Kambosos Jr. at 140 pounds. He looked absolutely horrible compared to what he looked like at 135 pounds against guys like Vasily Lomachenko, Devin the Dream Haney, and Teofimo Lopez. But one thing that I'll say is Richardson Hitchens beat this man down, knocked him out faster than any other boxer has that George Kambosos has faced on the highest level. Richardson Hitchens, one of his most impressive performances was against George Kambosos, man. I absolutely loved it back in June of 2025. Now, he's making his return against Oscar Duarte, the Mexican phenom. I would like to say this about Oscar Duarte. Since his last loss to Ryan Garcia, only has 2 losses, one by split decision back in 2019, and his last loss in 2023 to Ryan Garcia. Since then, has got a lot better. Is on a 4-fight win streak, knocked out Jojo Diaz, beat Kenneth Sims Jr. by majority decision, but honestly, it's looking like he's got a lot better. Forward pressure, Mexican style, combinations, volume, head right in front of there like a goddamn punching bag. Not the best head movement. Is able to get hit with the jab really cleanly, especially a guy like Richardson Hitchens, who fights from the outside, who could fight on the inside, who could push the pressure, who could do everything, ring IQ, everything. Great jab. Will more than likely box the head off of Oscar Duarte, but I absolutely love this fight. I think it's an exciting fight. I think if Oscar Duarte is able to pressure Hitchens up against the ropes, put the pressure, lay down some volume, and one of the most important things to do against Richardson Hitchens in this fight for Oscar Duarte is cut off the ring. If you can't cut off the ring, it's gonna be a goddamn long night for Oscar Duarte. But I'll tell you what, man, I absolutely love this fight. Hitchens has the potential to possibly make this an unfan favorite fight. But for a boxing hardcore, I love this, man. I love this fight. Oscar Duarte getting a shot at the IBF title, amazing. Now, not only are we getting both of those fights, but another title fight between the WBA Junior Welterweight Champion, 18-1, Gary Antoine Russell, who just beat Jose Venezuela to get that title strap. Jose Venezuela had just come off a win against Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Andy Hiroko was a guy, after beating Ismael Barrosos, was a guy who could have fought Isaac Pitbull Cruz for the WBA strap back in the days when Pitbull Cruz was champion. But they didn't. Isaac Pitbull Cruz ends up fighting Jose Venezuela. Venezuela beats him. Venezuela ends up fighting Gary Antoine Russell. And here we are. Andy Hiroko now getting his chance against Gary Antoine Russell. This is an exciting fight, technical matchup between 2 southpaws. One guy in Andy Hiroko who likes to box from the outside, southpaw with a beautiful jab. Beautiful, nice sniper jab. Likes to use this movement, has great feet. I would even say, compared to a guy like Jose Venezuela, he might have better feet and a better jab. That's why this makes this fight really interesting compared to a guy like Gary Antoine Russell, who I would say is the dark horse, a guy who nobody wants to fight. Everybody, I don't see nobody calling out Gary Antoine Russell compared to all the other champions, right? Gary Antoine Russell against Jose Venezuela, not only can this guy use the jab, box from the outside, but he can put the pressure. It's fighting with flurries. It's throwing 6-punch combinations, hitting angles, hitting you with 8-punch combinations. It's a flurry type of fighter. And once he sees that he got you in the bag, he goes for it, man, with relentless volume. I can't wait to see Gary Antoine Russell versus Andy Hiroko, which is going to be an absolutely fantastic, fantastic fight. We're going to see if Andy Hiroko could kind of use the Abuelo Pueblo blueprint on how he beat Gary Antoine Russell in that fight, all right? Fantastic matchup. Another world title fight. 3 world title fights to freaking end this goddamn main card. And not just that, but the return of Frank the Ghost Martin, who just fought. What was it? December 6th, I believe, on the undercard of the Lamont Roast Jr. versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz fight. He fought against Francis Barthelemy and knocked him out in the 4th round. Ridiculously. I'm talking about, yo, he was coming off a return on 1 year and a half, coming off fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. 1 year and a half after getting knocked out by Gervonta Tank Davis. Competed for the WBA lightweight strap at 135 pounds. Decided to move up to 140 pounds. Fought Francis Barthelemy and beat Francis better than I've seen anybody beat this guy. He knocked him out faster than Gary Antoine Russell did in the 6th round. Jose Ramirez with the distance with Francis Barthelemy. And what Frank the Ghost Martin just did to him, think about it. Jose Carlos is fighting out 147, Jose Ramirez. So it's amazing to see Frank the Ghost Martin come off after that knockout loss to Gervonta Tank Davis after a year and a half out of the ring. Come in here and shock the world. Honestly, I think out of all the fights on that card, that was one of the shockers and something that I think he absolutely needed for his career. Now, to make this even more interesting, he's going up against Nahir Albright. Yup, Nahir Albright, back-to-back fights with the Davis brothers. Just fought against Calvin Davis, beat the hell out of him. Fought against Keyshawn Davis before that, lost to him. It was a great fight, don't get me wrong. Has wins over guys like Carlos Barderas. And before that, went the distance with Jermaine Ortiz, and at times was having success against Ortiz. I love the way Nahir Albright fights. This is a guy who, in the early rounds, you might try to stand in the middle of the ring with him. You might try to push him back, but I guarantee you by the later rounds, Nahir Albright will be coming forward. Now, against a guy like Frank the Ghost Martin, now this is an absolutely high-level skilled fight. I wouldn't say it's the highest level, but we've seen Nahir Albright go toe-to-toe with the best of the best so far. And now going up against Frank the Ghost Martin and Frank Martin's second fight at 140 pounds, absolutely ridiculous, my people. And Beknamir Mulakazia versus Cena to open it up. Dude, this is a ridiculous card. February 21st. So many goddamn world-class fighters on here. Gary Antoine versus Andy Hiroko is a ridiculous matchup. I absolutely love that. Frank the Ghost Martin, Nahir Albright, ridiculous. And Richardson Hitchens, Oscar Duarte, man, stop playing with me, bro. What a great card. Let me know what you guys think, man. This is the MMA Boxing Addict channel reporting to you, and